Welcome into the 6th edition of New Zealand Water Polo's Inside the Game. Today, we do something very different. We talk to arguably the first family of New Zealand Water Polo. Yes, we go and talk to the Lewis family. Hard to believe that the grandfather played water polo for New Zealand, the three girls have all played for New Zealand, and Matt is a current member of the New Zealand men's team. So, without further ado, let's introduce our stars of today's show. Well, Christine, let's start with you because your father probably started this dynasty in water polo. He played water polo for New Zealand in the 1950s.
Yeah, he was an avid water polo player. So I think surf lifesaving and water polo went hand in hand back then. So lots of the guys who played surf, who were into surf lifesaving, were in the water polo team as well. But yeah, he played for New Zealand, was training for the 56 Olympics. And I just remember as kids sort of being dragged around from pool to pool, and some of the families back then, Mazzolini's, the Knights, that's still involved. So there is a lovely history behind it, yeah.
Well, let's follow on from that question then. I'd like to ask the girls when they first heard about their grandfather having played water polo for New Zealand and whether that in fact was inspiration for wanting to follow in his footsteps.
When I first started water polo, so we went football first, then water polo. And I think when I was around the water polo age, Mum mentioned to us that he was he did play for New Zealand, and that in my mind sort of stuck and wanted to keep playing, have that as motivation as well. But my grandpa played, I'm going to play, as well as my sisters as well, who are already 2 and 4 years deep into the game already. I always look up to my sisters and my grandpa as well, who were playing ahead of me.
Yeah, I think, we were so lucky. Obviously, Mum and Dad were so active and so sporty when we were growing up. So they always allowed us to really follow our passions and be involved in so many sports. So we were always, we were swimming, we were playing netball, we were dancing. Matt was playing soccer, Sim was horse riding as well, and water polo on top of that. And I guess that we were just so lucky to be given the opportunity to really follow our passions and follow our dreams for what we wanted to do. And I think we were all swimmers from such a young age anyway, that having the background of Grandpa playing for New Zealand and his success, and the fact that water polo was such a team sport as well, just really made it an easy transition really for us to decide that was the way that we wanted to go down. Yeah.
And what about you, Matt? I mean, did you play a lot of other sports growing up, or was it always water polo?
Yeah, so we started off with the flippable days with St Heliers Primary. And then, just as Nicole and Simone touched on as well, Mum and Dad were pretty keen to get us playing as many sports as we could. So, I was playing soccer, tennis, swimming like the rest of the girls. So that fitness on the dryland side of things definitely helped inside the pool, for sure. But yeah, it was just epic playing as many sports as we could. Just keeping fit, yeah.
Let's bring Dad into all of this. Did you get a say in any of this, or are you like me and just did as your child?
Mark, I'm involved in tennis, and
He tried to make us tennis players, Mark.
he wanted to be looked after in his retirement.
Yeah,
exactly. They all got involved in the tennis, but then over time that sort of pulled away when they all had a significant passion for water polo, and it became, I guess, all embracing.
And Matt, I would imagine there was automatically pressure on you to follow in your sister's footsteps, with them all having sort of represented New Zealand.
I think that's pretty accurate statement there. So there's obviously a 2-year age gap between all of us. So by the time I'd started out, I think Nicole and Simone were already in their under 15 New Zealand teams, and Danny was the up and coming year 7 and 8 player. So kind of felt like a need for me to try and continue on the family legacy. But yeah, definitely some added pressure to try and follow in their footsteps for sure.
And Danny and Simone, once you left school, you decided to take up scholarships in the United States. Danny, you went to the University of Hawaii, and Simone, you went to the University of Maryland. Tell us about that experience.
System.
It was like the best time of my life, and I would not give it up for anything. It was to have an opportunity to go to the States. Like, they already have such it's like next level. Like, you're training with all these other international players. As well, my team in Hawaii, they had people from the Netherlands, they had people from the States, they had people from Spain, from New Zealand, from Australia, like all over. So I was already playing with like a whole bunch of other players from different teams, and then to play against the best US players, and studying like that, trying to balance uni work and the ridiculous hours that US want you to train, like 20 hours a week. And yeah, it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
They like really treat you like a sort of professional athlete over there. You like get the full kit, but then you've got a trainer, there's like access to sort of like nutritionists and things. Like, all the training centers are amazing. Like, there's a proper full like weight room that you go into. You've sort of got your allocated slots with your weight trainer plus your coaches. There's access to like physios, like whenever you want, you sort of just rock up into those like the training room, and they'll treat you for whatever. Sort of like, we shared the same facilities with like the football and basketball and all the other athletes. But there's also like on the academic side, they have like counselors that help you like sort your class schedule out to fit in with training schedules, and sort of like help direct you and sort of where you want to go. There's like tutors available if you're like struggling to balance your like workload, and everything's just like provided for you. Same with like food after training, and I don't know, it's quite amazing. Like, the setups there's sort of like nothing that would
Very
Let's turn the attention back to you, Matt. You went through one of the best water polo schools in the country, a school that really sort of has dominated at the pointy end when it comes to school water polo, and that was Sacred Heart. How important was your time at Sacred Heart in terms of your development?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously having three sisters that played was a pretty driving motivation, but like you touched on there, Sacred Heart was pretty much the key reason for me having the passion and the love for polo. The teacher in charge, Chris Hayward, set up an amazing program there. They had an amazing coach, John O'Ware, who took us through pretty much from year 7 all the way to year 13. It's just a factory there. They produce some pretty talented kids there, and it just seems like they keep getting better and better each year. But that's just full credit to the coaches that they have here, that they have at Sacred, and the program that they're running. But it's pretty special what they're doing there. They definitely make you fall in love with the sport for sure.
I just want to continue on the theme of school sport, because we are starting to see, I guess, more focus being put on secondary school sport right across the board, and a lot of people now see it as the sort of stepping stone to higher honours. So, Nicole, how important was your time at Diocesan?
Yeah, so I started playing water polo in year 7 at Dio, and Kurt Goldsworthy and Roberta Stewart were my coaches starting off there, and they just instilled such a fantastic discipline in us, I guess, and such a strong, cohesive unit. And we were lucky to, as a bunch of us as year 9s, as I mentioned before, won Schoolgirls Nationals for the first time, and then we ended up winning it a few more times after that. In my 7th form year, and I think Sim and Danny won it as well. So I think definitely the benefit of having a strong school program and coaches and management behind you is really fundamental.
Let's go back to Mum and Dad. Christine and Howard, I want to know when you look back on the girls' careers, what your proudest moments were or are, and equally, with what Matt's doing at the moment.
See all 3 girls playing for New Zealand, being in the pool at the same time was pretty special for us, and having Matt in the men's team. you sort of, you know how much sweat and hours and how many sacrifices they make. So to see them get there with that silver fern and to represent their country and to play well it's a very proud moment.
Yeah, there's nothing more special than when the kids are wearing the New Zealand silver fern, right? And that Danielle, Nicole, and Matt all played in Barcelona at the World Champs. Simon was in the States and wasn't available. That's pretty special, and that's where Danielle met her husband, who was playing for the US team there. And then in Russia, Nicole, Simon, and Danielle all went to the World Champs in Russia. We didn't go, but I was in Barcelona, and that was an absolute highlight.
I'm just keen to know how long your careers all lasted. Just give us a little bit of background, each of you, just in terms of how long you did play for New Zealand. Clearly, Matt, you're still playing.
Well, I debuted for the New Zealand senior women's team at World League in Auckland in 2011, and then I retired in April 2018 in Auckland at World League as well. So that was my career internationally.
Danny?
I counted it the other day actually. I played for 15 years, but I think 5 of those years were for New Zealand, and then I stopped playing. I had hip surgery in 2013, I think. No, 2014, just because of like the wear and tear of what water polo has on your body, and just trying to get that. It's just hard coming back from surgery.
I don't know. Do you count flippable days properly? I think everyone sort of starts when they're about 10 years old, and then I think I stopped maybe when I was 25, and sort of work started to take a bit more priority. But then there's people like Sarah Patterson who, had a comeback when she was 30-ish. Yeah.
Mum and Dad, you've only really got Matt left to follow now, and so Matt, finally you're the golden child.
Matt's always the golden child.
Mark, it's taken 25 years of my life for me.
Or whatever.
Yeah, well, Nicole was telling me before everyone else got on that she, in fact, was the best of all of you.
You would have said that.
I definitely said that it was Matt. I was like, Matt's the favourite.
And Christine, the three girls have retired and just Matt left playing water polo. What's the future look like for you and Howard in regards to your involvement in the sport? Will it stop when Matt stops?
I don't know. When are you going to stop, Maddie?
Never.
No, look, because of the history we've got, obviously New Zealand will always be very special to us. Doe, for me, I've been involved with that for a long, long time as well. There's a fantastic program that Angie Winstanley Smith has in place there. And I'll keep on managing our Doe girls. I'm incredibly proud of them. And the Maris Senior Men, of which Matt's a member. I mean, these are young men who I've known since they were boys, and equally proud of them as well. So for me, I'll just keep on doing that for as long as they'll have me. And, love every minute of it. I do. I love it. I love seeing these young ones coming through and getting the results that they do and playing a sport that they absolutely love. It gives me a lot of pleasure.
Wow, what an absolutely remarkable family the Lewis family are. Congratulations to all of them on their successes and their future successes. Very humble indeed. In fact, I've been told Matt at the age of 10 was the #1 ranked player in Auckland for his age. He also played first 11 soccer at Sacred Heart. Danielle, a brilliant netball player at Diocesan. Some say that she could have gone on and played for the Ferns, but she made the New Zealand women's water polo team while she was still at school. Simply remarkable. Hope you have enjoyed this episode of New Zealand Water Polo's Inside the Game.